The American business magnate Bill Gates said, "We're changing the world with technology." It is most evident in our learning modality today that we rely heavily on the different technological tools so that we may still work, learn, play, and be productive in this challenging time. This shift in the use of technology is not all that easy, as some can find it difficult to work with, which is why the BUCE University College of Education College Student Council formally launches its first web series, Teacher Techie, episodes designed to enhance the digital literacy and technology literacy skills of our teachers in the making. This show will also allow our current mentors in the profession to gain insight on how can we maximize these ICT tools at our disposal. To start our program, may we invite everyone to place themselves in the presence of the Lord for our opening prayer, to be followed by the singing of the Philippine National Anthem.
Our Heavenly Father, the fount of all goodness and grace, the cause of wisdom, the source of intelligence, we welcome you, O Lord, to this auspicious gathering of your beloved, who continuously give you thanks for every opportunity to learn something new and become fruitful to the works of your creation. We humbly come to you, not because we are worthy, but because we find ourselves in need of you, who is our strength and our hope, to continue despite the challenges we face in health, prosperity, and our solidarity with one another. We pray that today's gathering, made possible by the grace of advancements in technology and social media, become successful in its endeavors, so we can offer it back to you as our humble offering to honor you, glorify you, and love you through our deeper connection with everyone. May we find bliss in today's session and become more productive children and co-creators of the earth. This we ask and pray through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Bayang magiliw, perlas ng silangan, nananag ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, duyan ka ng magiting, sa manlulupig, di ka pasisili. Sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mabaga, may nilagang tulad, awit sa paglayang minamahal. Mag-isap ng matawat mo'y tagumpay na nagnenene, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa mali magdidili. Lupa ng harangan, ating pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Aming ligay na may mga pirang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Let's now give a virtual round of applause to our BUCE College Student Council President, Mr. CARY Dominic Abijuro, as he gives his opening remarks.
To the beloved Dean of BUCE University College of Education, Dr. Lorna Minya, to the College Student Council Advisor and the College Student Activities Coordinator, Dr. Jocelyn Guyena, to my fellow College Student Council officers and junior counselors, Siinians, participants, and online viewers, a blessed day to all of you. Technology is everywhere, and we rely on it every single day. To the alarm clocks that wake us up every morning, to the television that we watch while eating or sleeping, to the cameras we use while filming, or the laptops and desktop computers we're using in this flexible learning setup. And of course, the devices that can perform powerful tasks, yet can fit in the palm of our hands. The youth of today are being called the Generation Z. But there is also another term that this generation of kids go by, and it fits well with our program for this afternoon: digital natives. Wikipedia.com defines a digital native as, quote, an individual who was born after the widespread adoption of digital technology is not necessarily hooked onto a specific generation, but rather this term describes any child who has grown up using technology, such as the internet, smartphones, and computers. I remember when I was a kid, my father is the one who would teach me on technology and the use of computers. We had this family computer with a white box-like monitor running Windows XP. I'm sure a lot of students here are not anymore familiar with Windows XP anymore. I can remember the days where I played solitaire and pinball on that computer, draw pictures with MS Paint, and we would plug a globe tattoo broadband on that computer just so we can surf to the internet. Now, obviously, we have improved in our terms of access to technology, but as a teacher in the making, we still have a lot to learn in terms of the tools we can use in our profession, especially in this current learning setup we have. We have seen news stories of teachers using hangers and binder clips to make cell phone stands as they film their lectures to share with their students. Those who have invested in ring lights, USB hubs, and mechanical keyboards, and the various webinars and YouTube tutorials that they have been participating in, just so they can keep up with the digital natives in this new learning setup. The council may not have the resources yet to give away gadgets and hardware accessories, but we can start in the software and peopleware, these skills that we need in order to navigate this digital virtual space. Which leads us to the Teacher Techie series. This project has been well in the works for weeks, and now I'm glad that we have the time to enjoy this pilot episode. This series aims for all of us to discover different ICT tools, skills, tips and tricks that can allow you to navigate your digital ecosystem in a better, easier, and more productive manner. I hope that by the end of each episode, you will learn something new, even if the ICT tools featured are ones that you already use on a day-to-day basis. With the help of our resource speakers, may we view technology as a channel for empowerment instead of a barrier to success. May this simple project of the Council be a way to elevate our knowledge in ICT. May we be educated on the new discoveries on these various tools, and may this be a way to connect ourselves with the profession we aim to practice in the near future. With proper education, guidance, and navigation, may we all be #Tatak Teacher Techie. With that said, I hope you enjoy the rest of the program. Thank you and good day. Back to you, Kenneth.
Thank you so much, Mr. ABEJURO, for that wonderful opening message to our participants. As teachers, it is important how we facilitate learning in the classroom, may it be physical or virtual. Nevertheless, technology in either situation, when used properly, can allow for a productive and engaging teaching-learning process to occur. Planning and preparing oneself in the profession is an important practice to perform. In this episode, we will take a crash course on maximizing 3 tools that can help in our productivity sessions. Google Calendar, Google Keep, and Google Task. I would like to call in now one of our BUCE College Student Council representatives, Mr. 𝐈𝐭'𝐬 to introduce to us our guest speaker for the episode today.
Thank you, Kenneth. I am honored today to introduce to the participants our guest speaker for the pilot episode of our Teacher Techie series. Our resource speaker is a graduate of Bachelor of Secondary Education from the University of the Philippines, Diliman. He acquired his Master of Arts in History from the Ateneo de Manila University. He is currently taking up his postgraduate studies at the University of the Philippines, Diliman under the Tri-College Philippine Studies Doctorate Program. Currently, he is a full-time faculty at 𝗍𝐴 School and a part-time lecturer at the Ateneo de Manila University. He is a Google Certified Educator Level 2. He also belongs to the Google for Education Certified Innovators via 20 cohort, of which only 75 were accepted, with only 2 coming from the Philippines. He is also a Google for Education Certified Trainer and Google for Education Certified Coach. He is the founder of Kaagapay Teacher Support, which provides different forms of assistance to teachers all over the country. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all give a virtual round of applause to Mr. Franco Nicolo P. Adon.
Hello, welcome to our first session for this training program. Okay, so for today, we'll be talking about optimized workflow with Google Tools. Okay, so this is on Google Calendar, Google Keep, and Google Tasks. So let me introduce myself first. I'll be your trainer for today. Okay, I'm Franco Nicolo P. Adon. I'm an administrator of Kaagapay Teacher Support, an organization that supports teachers on the use of technology for education. Okay, I'm also a Google certified trainer, a Google certified coach, a Google certified innovator. So for today, there will be 3 tools that we'll be talking about. Okay, mainly Google Calendar, Google Keep, and Google Tasks. So let's start with our Google Calendar. Okay, so this is one of my most favorite tools, okay, among the Google Workspace for Education tools, okay, simply because it allows me to organize my events and organize my tasks for the day and for the entire month. So what is a Google Calendar? Okay, so Google Calendar can be accessed through our Google Chrome. Okay, there is what we call Google Workspace Launcher, Google Workspace Apps Launcher, or in the community we call it the Google Apps Drawer, or simply the waffle icon. Okay, so that's the 9-dot icon that you will see on the upper right corner of your Google Chrome when you open your Google Chrome. It can also easily be accessed via calendar.google.com. That's the address to Google Calendar. And of course, okay, what's good about Google Calendar is its accessibility. It can be accessed from your different devices, from your tablet to your mobile phones to your laptops. Okay, so there is also an equivalent mobile application for the Google Calendar. You may download that from your iOS or Android devices. So let's get into first what is Google Calendar for? What do we use it for? The first one is that it's used for scheduling meetings and events. Okay, so especially right now that we have a lot of things to schedule. Okay, with online classes going on, with events being scheduled or being plotted. Okay, in so many organizations or groups that we belong into. Okay, Google Calendar will definitely be able to help. Okay, organize reminders and tasks. Okay, so Google Calendar is also has an integrated tools, okay, called Google Keep and Google Tasks, that allows you to manage and organize your reminders and tasks in one place. And of course, it sets as a reminder about upcoming events. Okay, if you are the type of person that needs to be reminded about your upcoming events, so you don't miss any meetings, events, or gatherings. Okay, Google Calendar will definitely be able to help you. And of course, the last one is collaborate on events. Okay, Google Calendar allows you to work with others. Okay, on events by inviting them as collaborators or sharing your calendars with them. So that's what Google Calendar is for. So let's now look into the things that we can do in Google Calendar. Okay, so the first one that we're going to do today is on scheduling events. Okay, so these are the 7 things that we're going to try to do. Okay, the first one is to create an event, add guests, add rooms, location, or conferencing if you are doing your events in a physical setup. Add an event description and attachments. Choose an event color, calendar, and default visibility. Set up notification and set saved events. So let me just open my Google Calendar. Okay, so this is my Google Calendar. Let me just remove some of my calendars right there so that we have a clean view. Okay, so this is my Google Calendar. And as you can see, this is very a normal calendar. Okay, only online. Okay, so you can access it from your browser and again from your mobile phones or tablets. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is to schedule events. Okay, so if you open your Google Calendar, automatically you are presented with your personal Google Calendar. Okay, and this is my personal Google Calendar, for example. Okay, from here you can easily plot events or schedule events. Okay, so there are 2 ways to schedule your events or plot events into your calendar. The first one is to use that plus sign on the upper left corner of your screen. Okay, so if you can see here, you have a plus sign. We click on that. Okay, you can actually start creating an event right here. Okay, so that's the first one. Okay, although my recommended option for you to create an event is to simply click on any event date. Okay, so for example, if you want to create an event on October 17, the only thing that you need to do is to click on that date. Okay, and what happens next? You can see that the dialog box for creating events appears. Okay, so you can now create your event from here. The next one is, of course, put the details onto your event. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is to set up our name or title for the calendar event. So the first, let's just put a title. So let's say that this is a sample event. Okay, and when you do schedule an event, you are given an option if you want to make that a single date event. Okay, or is that an event that stretches from 1 day to 2 days, 3 days, or 4 days, and so on and so forth. You can actually set the to and from dates of your event. Okay. Now, by default, all events are set to all day. What do you mean by all day? All day means that there's no particular time. Okay. So what you can do if you want a specific time is to click on add time right here. Okay. And when you click on that, you'll now be able to choose the range of the time that you want that your event will be happening. Okay. So say for example that this event will happen from 9:30 a.m. To let's say 11 a.m. 1.5 hours of event. Okay. So that's the way of setting your events in your Google Calendar. The second one is that whenever you create an event, you also have an option to make an event a recurring event. Okay, so when you say, for example, that you want to make this a recurring event every Sunday, okay, then what you can do is to click on this option right here. Okay, there's a drop-down menu. Okay, right beside the does not repeat button. Okay, when you click on that, you'll now have different options to make this event a repeating. This is very useful, okay, for example, for class schedules, for regular meetings, okay, or events that actually recur every so often, okay, in a particular date. Say, for example, that this event now would recur every weekly, every Sunday, so we can click on that, okay. Now, the event will repeat every Sunday monthly, okay. So every Sunday, you will have an event now all throughout the year, okay. And of course, if you want to further customize your repetition, you can click on custom. Here in custom, you can actually select which days it particularly repeats. Okay, so it's very useful and to give you more flexibility in terms of making an event a recurring event. Okay, repeating events is a useful thing, especially so that you don't need to reschedule every time. Okay, or schedule a meeting or events every time if it thinks that it repeats in a regular pattern or a regular schedule. Okay. So once you're done, okay, you can actually, for example, let's make this a repeating event for Monday and Wednesday and Friday. Okay, so MWFS. Okay. And of course, you can always set the time that the repetition ends, okay, on two ways. Okay, so you can either end the repetition by a particular date. Okay, so if say, for example, you want to end the repetition by January 16, 2022, or you can also do end the repetition by occurrences. Okay, so for example, you want that there will only be 20 occurrences. Okay, so we can type here 20. Okay, so after 20 recurrences, okay, or occurrences of this event in your calendar, it will stop, okay, the repetition. Okay, so those are the two ways you can customize your repetition. Okay, say for example, I'm done with that. Okay, I'm gonna click that. Okay, and this event now will repeat, okay, every Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and end after 20 occurrences. Okay, so that's how we make our events repeating. Okay, and also, please take note that repeating your events is also one way of creating a recurring meeting link. Okay, so I'm going to show you, that in a little while. Okay, for the meantime, let's do first, okay, adding guests. Okay, so you can also add guests into your events. Okay, couple of things that's good about adding guests. Okay, whenever you add guests, okay, your guests will actually receive an RSVP email, which means that they will have to confirm, okay, if they will be going to your event. Okay, yes, no, or maybe. Okay, so that you have a good estimate of how many people will be available for your event. So, okay, you can type, for example, here an email. Say, for example, I'm going to invite my other email, Kaagapay Teacher Support. Okay, so that's the quickest way to invite a person. Another way, another advantage of adding a person into your event, okay, is that whenever you generate a meeting link here, okay, those people that you have invited in your event are automatically going to be accepted into your event, into your meetings, okay, or Google Meet without admitting them. Okay, so that removes the hassle of admitting people into your meetings via Google Meet. Okay, but that again will depend if they have been invited into your meeting. But don't forget, okay, that even if there's no admittance anymore that's required for them, they will still have to wait for the host in the Google Meet. So it means that if you are the host of the meeting, you will still get there first, okay, not them. Okay, but once you're there, there will be automatically be admitted into your meeting. Okay, so that's how we invite a person. Okay, the next one is that as I've told you, okay, whenever you invite a person into your event, okay, automatically Google Calendar generates a Google Meet for you. Okay, it's assuming that you're going to set up an online meeting with this person. Okay, so you can see here that automatically it generated a Google Meeting link for me. Okay, I could always remove it if I don't want to use that. Okay, so you can remove the conference here or the video conference. Okay, and now don't forget and take note, okay, that this meeting link, since we have made this a repeating event, okay, means that this Google Meet will be a recurring meeting link. Okay, and that means, okay, that this meeting link can be used until the event actually expires. Okay, that's the best way to create a recurring meeting link in Google Meet, okay, via Google Calendar. Okay, if you want to create a meeting link that does not expire, then extend your repetition. Okay, so say for example, if your repetition ends in 5 years, it means that that meeting link that you generated for that event will also be good for 5 years. Okay, so that's how it works. That's the logic of creating recurring meeting link using Google Calendar. Okay, we can create a recurring meeting link in Google Meet in itself. Okay, so we'll have to create it in Google Calendar. And of course, you can always add a location if you want where the meeting will be held, okay, or place but right now so far, okay, our meetings are usually online, so you can actually put here if you're not using, for example, the Google Meeting link, then you can actually put here other meeting links, okay, from other video conferencing application, say for example Zoom. Okay, so you can actually put here the meeting link for the Zoom link in your location. Okay. And of course, what I really appreciate for with Google Calendar is that the ability to put a description and attachments. Okay, so when you click on this part, okay, you'll be able to add description, okay, for your event. Okay, so for example, if this is a meeting or a departmental meeting or a class meeting, then you might want to outline already the agenda for the meeting or the things you're going to talk about in your class. Okay. That's making it possible for you to communicate information without sending a separate email to them, okay, or informing them via chat or via their calendars. Okay, so all your information are contained in a particular or one single invite to your students or to your co-teachers or colleagues you're inviting in your event, okay, or whoever you are going to invite in your event. And of course, you can always put an attachment, okay, which I also appreciate about Google Calendar. Okay, so whenever, for example, you want to send materials prior to the meeting, you can already attach it here. Say, for example, if this is a meeting, you might want to attach the minutes of the meeting from the previous meeting. If this is a class, say, for example, you might want to attach, for example, reading materials, okay, for your students. So whenever you put it here, it's going to be communicated to your students with the event itself. That again, no, eliminates the need to send a separate email, okay, or communication to your students regarding materials. So again, Google Calendar puts all your communication in one place. Okay? And of course, we can always choose which calendar, okay, you'd like to put this event in. Okay, so later on, I'll be talking about the different calendars, okay, or creating different calendars aside or apart from your, separate from your personal Google Calendar. Okay, so for now, let's just put it here in my calendar named Saver School. Okay? And right below the choosing of the calendar, this event will be put in. You can actually also choose your visibility, okay, or for this meeting. Okay, so when you drop that down, okay, you can see that if you're busy or free. So of course, I'm going to put busy. I'm the host of the meeting. Default visibility. Do you want this event to be public or private? Okay, of course, I'd like to make it private, so I'll just put private. Okay. And what I really like about Google Calendar is that it also automates, okay, notification to your guests and to yourself. Okay. So when you click, when you create an event, you can actually set up a notification here, okay, when which allows you to send a notification to you and to your guests, okay, before the meeting. Okay, so there are two kinds of notification here: the pop-up notification and the email notification. Okay, so the first one, when you click on this one, I could send a notification. Okay, let's customize that. Okay. So I'm saying, for example, this is a notification 10 minutes before. I can increase that, say, for example, 15 minutes, okay, before the meeting, okay? And of course, I also added another one that's 30 minutes before. So there's actually two notifications that my guests and myself will receive prior to the event, okay? I could add another notification, which I also like, no? So let's just customize that. And you can see here, there's a drop down for the kind of notification. Actually, when you click that, you can actually send or choose email. So when you choose email, I could set it, for example, to 1 day. Okay. So it means that all me and my guests, okay, will receive an email 1 day before the event, okay, notifying us about a particular event. That's actually very useful, especially for preparation. Okay, for example, if I'm going to attend a meeting or presenting in a webinar or an event, I would be able to prepare well prior to the event because I've been notified 1 day before in case I could check my materials, I could check if everything's in place, etc. Okay, so once you're done, you can actually save, click save, and that will save your event into your calendar. Okay, but what I'd like to do now is not save it yet. Okay, instead, I'm going to go click more options. Okay, and when you click more options, okay, that will allow you more things to do. No, and what I'd like to highlight here are a couple of things. Okay, the first one that I'd like to highlight here is this option right here called Find a Time. Okay, so Find a Time is a perfect way to set up a meeting with your colleagues. Okay, or to anyone you'd like to invite in the meeting. Because Find a Time allows you to find a common time, okay, wherein you are both available for the meeting. Okay. So say for example, right now we can see that I am viewing my calendar and the calendar of one of my guests, which is one of my other accounts. Okay. So this is what Find the Time option brings you. It allows you to see all the calendars of your guests, okay? So that you can set up a proper time for them. And I can see right here that the time that I set up, 10:30 to 11 a.m. Seems like fine because there are no schedules plotted, okay, for both individuals, okay, or attendees. But there's actually a condition for this, okay? For you to be able to use the Find the Time option, you'll have to make sure that the calendar, okay, of your guests are actually shared with you. Okay, so say for example right here, 𝐓𝐞𝐚𝐜𝐴@gmail.com account, okay, have actually shared his calendar with me, and therefore I can view his calendar. Okay, while Kaagapay teacher support account, okay, calendar, okay, is not shared with me, and therefore I cannot invite or I can't see the calendar of this person. Okay, so that's how it works. Okay, so if you want to use the Find the Time, make sure first that all your guests have shared their calendars with you. Okay, once you're done, just once you're done checking the Find the Time option and seeing that it's actually okay to set up the meeting, then you go ahead and send your meeting. Okay, but for now, let's just go back to the event details. Okay, the second one I'd like to highlight here is that whenever you invite guests right here, notice that you can actually set the permission they have. Okay, the first one is that whenever you invite someone, you can actually invite them to modify the event, okay, invite others, or see guest list. Okay, so that's what and how we can give permissions or extra permission to our guests. And of course, you can always remove, okay, a particular guest right here if you don't really want them to be invited in your guests. Once you're done with your events, then that's good to go. Just click on save, okay. And no, usually and normally, okay, whenever you invite guests outside of your domain, it means that it's not part of your school or your employee employment email, okay. Then you will be notified that you're inviting someone, okay, outside your organization, okay. So just send this, and then here, okay, as I've told you, you'll be informed that you are inviting someone outside of your organization, okay. So just click on invite all guests, okay. And what it does is that it will send notification to all your invited guests. So that's an RSVP, okay. And what's good about that is that whenever a person says yes, okay, or no, or maybe into that RSVP, you also get to be notified, okay. So you will see how many people will be attending your meeting or can attend your meeting. So when you click your event, say for example, this is the event that we created, sample event. Okay, when you click on that, okay, this right here, you will see how many guests have said yes, okay, and how many guests have are still waiting responses, okay, or how many guests said no. Okay, so there's a summary right here, okay, among your guests. So as a host, okay, you'll be given a good sense, okay, of how many people will be attending your meeting. So that's for setting up your meetings or scheduling events. Okay. Our next one that we're going to do is for our Google Calendar is to respond and to manage events. Okay, so whenever we receive or we send invitation, okay, so a person, okay, once someone is invited, they can actually respond to the meeting if it's a yes, no, or maybe, okay, and that's actually sent to their emails. Okay, you can always update an existing event. Okay, we're going to do that. Okay, check a guest attendance, delete an event, or restore a deleted event. Okay, so let's just go to that. Okay, let's open again our calendar. Okay, so once again, as I've told you, when you open again your event, you will see here how many guests have said yes, how many guests are a no or are still waiting responses. Okay, and notice as well that whenever you want to edit your event, you can easily do that by clicking the pen tool from the top part of your event details. Okay, so when you click on that, you can now start editing your event once again. Okay, so if there are, like example, change in venues, change in times, okay, you can easily do it here. If you want, like for example, to add more guests, okay, to add details into your event, put attachments, you can easily do it here. Okay, And but the simplest way, if you want to change, for example, the date of a particular event, you can actually easily drag an event from one date to another. Say, for example, I want to put this event from October 17th to October 16th. I would simply drag it here. Now I get to transfer that into October 16. But okay, since we created multiple events, you'll be asked if you're only transferring this event or are you transferring all other events. So what I'm going to do is just transfer this event, just click OK. And you'll also be asked, do you want to send a new email or a new notification to your guests? Okay, so if, of course you would like to do that, okay, because if we change the date and things about our event, we would like to inform our guests. So just click send, okay, and notice that that's how simple it is. Okay, now the event has been transferred to October 16. Okay, and of course, if you want to easily delete your event, you can go and click your event. Okay, and you'll see here a trash bin icon on the top part of your dialog box. Okay? When you click on that, that now erase. You can now erase that event. Okay. Of course, you'll be asked, are you erasing this event, or the following events, or all events? Okay. So we'll just say, for example, we're erasing all events. Okay. And then, of course, we'll be sending also a notification to our guest that the event has been erased, been deleted, postponed, or canceled. That's it. Okay, so now we have managed properly our events. Okay, let's now go through our second and the last one, which is creating and sharing and viewing calendars. Okay, this is one of the really good things about Google Calendar. It allows you to create multiple calendars. Okay, wherein it allows you to create separate calendars for separate events maybe, or themes, or projects, etc. Okay, so that also allows you to collaborate with someone because all your calendars are actually shareable with someone else. Okay, you can also view other people's calendar, delete your calendar, and of course add an out of office dates to your calendar, and even locations. Okay, you can now add locations, okay, to your calendar where you are working, especially right now that most of us are working at home. So it would be nice if someone would know if you are available online or available in a face-to-face meeting. Okay, so let's just go over to our calendar. Okay, once again. So this is for example, okay, notice here on the left side of my calendar. Okay, these are all my calendars. Okay, so these are separate, no, based on themes. So for example, I have a calendar for my school, Xavier School. I have a calendar for Ateneo de Manila University, where I teach also as a lecturer. I also have a calendar, for example, for Kaagapay Teacher Support, which is my organization. And I also have a calendar for personal events. Okay, so that's how different calendars can actually help you manage events. So it's does not fall on the same calendar and confuses you. Okay, and whenever you use a different calendar, it also allows you for a more personalization and customization, which I'm going to show you in a little while. Okay, so whenever we want to create a calendar or a new calendar apart, no, or separate from our personal calendar, what we need to do is to click on that plus sign right here. Okay, that allows you now to subscribe, create a new calendar, browse a calendar of interest from a URL, or import a calendar. So what we're going to do now is to first just create a new calendar. Okay, so when you click that, okay, you just have to put the details. So for example, this is a calendar for for the university. Okay, where we will put events. It's actually very, very useful for schools. Okay, in which, for example, the school can set up a calendar for the entire school, wherein all events are actually plotted. So all parents, students, okay, teachers are informed about events, okay, of the school. Okay, you can also use this for organization. Whenever you, for example, you are doing projects, okay, it would be really nice to plot events, plot timelines, plot deadlines, okay, in your project, no, in a Google Calendar. Okay, so that's very, very useful for those matters. Okay, so after that, after naming your calendar, you can put details what the calendar is all about. Okay, and that's basically it. Okay, you're done. Okay, the time zone is always usually taken from your location. Okay, so it's automatically set, and right now it's actually set properly. Okay, for PST. Okay, so we're just going to create our calendar. Okay, so we're done. Okay, once you have done that, okay, you would be able to see that the calendar has been created right here. Just look for that right here. Okay, so the calendar has been created. Okay, for our school. Okay, so now the next thing that we'd like to do is, of course, okay, is to customize that calendar further. Okay, so when you open your calendar, calendar setting, okay, you will be able to see here all the details of your calendar. Okay, you'll be able to also see the access permission for events. Okay, so there are calendars that you can make public. Okay, so you can actually tick that box to make it public. Say, for example, if this is a school calendar, then you might want to make it public. Okay, but for example, this is an organizational calendar, or a department calendar, or a project calendar, then you might want to make it private. Okay, by just making it available to your domain, or better yet, if you really want to make your calendar very public, is to go on and add your calendar to just specific people. Okay, so right here you can see share with specific people. You can add people here by their email. Okay, so say for example, I'm going to choose Kaagapay to support. Let's invite this email to this calendar. And whenever you're inviting people into your calendar, okay, notice you have different options to give them. Okay, so the first one is see free only hide details. Okay, you can also set them to see all events details, make changes to events. Okay, make changes and mind shares. So for example, we'll be asking that this person to make changes to this event. Okay, and yes, of course, we're just going to send this. Okay, so there it is. Okay, now this person can make changes. Okay, to the calendar. So this is one of the things that I told you earlier. Okay, wherein you can actually collaborate with someone. So no, say for example, you are an organization, so you can actually assign, for example, 5, okay, maybe 6, 7 people who manages the calendar and plot events into your calendar. Okay, so that gives you more view of what's happening in your organization, in your department, or in your school. Okay, now aside from those things, okay, you can also find from the settings of your calendar different things, as for example, notifications, event notification, which I really recommend that you do. Okay, now event notification, this one on your calendar is different from the notification that we set up earlier. Here, when you do event notifications in your calendar, this becomes a default notification. It means that all events that's going to be created in your calendar will automatically have this notification. So it's as simple as what we did earlier. Okay, you can add a notification, for example, a pop-up notification. We can also send an email, for example. Okay, let's set it to one day. Okay, so now all the events in your calendar will always have a 10-minute pop-up notification, and then a 1-day email notification for all your participants or guests or subscribers to your calendar. And then you can also find all other details for your calendar here to integrate your calendar into different platforms. So you will have here your public URL calendar. You also have here your iCal format calendar. And okay, from here, you can always unsubscribe or delete your calendar. It's really up to you. Okay? Since you are the owner, you can delete the calendar. But if you are just a subscriber of the calendar, normally you won't be able to see. Not normally, but you will not really see the delete option here because it's not your calendar. Okay, the only option if it's not your calendar is to unsubscribe from your calendar. So that's how you manage the calendar. Okay, so let's go back here, okay, to our calendar. Okay, so the other one that we're in, you can customize your calendar is by changing the color. Okay, so when you click on the 3 dots right here, okay, for your calendar, you will see that you can change actually the colors. Okay, so I can change, for example, to make it light, this one. Okay, so now that calendar has that color. Okay, and consequently, all events created in this calendar will follow that color coding scheme. It means that even if you turn on your other calendar, okay, say for example, I turn on this one, and this one, okay, you will see that my events, okay, are color coded. I would know if an event is actually for my Kaagapay calendar because it's with color green. For my Saver School calendar, I know that it's yellow. Okay, so that's how we how it works now for the color coding. Okay, so that's how we share, okay, collaborate with in our calendars. Okay, the last one that I'd like to show you for this demonstration, okay, is the creating of appointment slots. Okay. But before we start with this one, okay, just a reminder that this one is actually only available for your all Google Workspace accounts users. Okay, so this is not available for personal Google account. Okay, accounts that ends with @gmail.com. Okay, so if you are using a Google account that ends with @gmail.com, you won't see the appointment slots. Okay, so this again only works for those who are using Google Workspace accounts, okay, or education accounts. So let's go back to my calendar once again. And we'll just turn off all other calendars except, okay, this one, the one that we created earlier, okay? And what we're going to do is to create an event, okay? So say, for example, if I want to create an appointment slot, okay, for consultation or for interview, for example, or for other purposes, no, of an appointment slot, okay? I would only click on that particular day. Say, for example, I'm going to create an appointment slot on October 16. I'm going to click on that, okay? And notice here that instead of clicking event, okay, we have a tab called appointment slots, okay? So we click on that appointment slots tab, okay? So we can now set, okay, from what time, okay, and from which dates, if this will appointment slot be available. We're just going to set it for 1 day. And we're going to set the time. Say, for example, if this is a consultation, I am a professor, for example, I would set that my consultation is every 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. So I have an hour of consultation. Of course, okay, that entire hour should not be for just one consultation. So I could actually limit, okay, for example, the consultation to just 10 minutes each. It means that I'm creating 6 slots for this appointment slot, okay? Once I'm done, I just click save. Now, the next thing to do is to click on that event, okay, to be able to check on your appointment slots. Okay, so when you click on that event, you will see here that there is a link called "Go to Appointment Page" for this calendar. So you just click on that one, okay, and once you click that, you will see here the appointment page for your calendar. Okay, so you will see here all the appointment slots that you have created in your calendar. Okay, so we'll just look for it. As you can see here, these are the appointment slots that we created, okay? If someone clicks on that, okay, they will be able to set up a meeting with you, okay? So it automatically generates a Google Meeting for you and all other things as if they're creating an event, okay? So basically, they're setting up an appointment with you, okay? So once you're done, this once a person's done, they will click the details. And what's good about this is that it will send an email that someone set up an appointment with you. Second, that appointment will be plotted into your Google Calendar, so you will also not miss it, okay? Now, to share this, okay, if you are going to share it with someone, okay, this appointment slots to someone, okay, what you need to do is to go onto your Omnibox, that's the address bar on top, okay, and to copy the address, okay? So when you copy that address, you can send it to emails, okay, to Messenger, or to wherever, okay, you are communicating with your intended guests for this appointment slots. And they'll be able to go to this appointment page. Okay. Now, once you're done, okay, now the appointment slot has been created. Okay. So that's how easy we get to use Google Calendar. Okay. So let's now move on to our next tool, which is an integrated tool to Google Calendar, which is Google Keep. Okay. This is also one of my favorite tools. Okay. Because it allows me to organize my tasks. Okay? So your access to Google Keep, okay, is also similar to Google Calendar, okay, via Google Chrome's Google Apps Launcher or via Google Keep.com. Okay, so once we're done with that, okay, we can also access your Google Keep, okay, via your mobile, tablet, or desktop. Okay. For mobile, okay, the name is Keep Notes, okay, so it's not named Google Keep, okay, so you're not confused. So when you look for it in the Android or the Play Store or the Apple Store, you'll have to search for Keep Notes, okay, not Google Keep. Okay. So these are the only things we're going to do here in Google Keep. Will be to create and manage notes. Okay, so we'll try to create a note or list, set a reminder for notes, okay, add labels for a note, insert image, okay, or drawing, and add a collaborator. Okay, so let's just go over and visit, okay, my Google Keep. Okay, so this is my Google Keep. Okay, and you can see here that it's a very simple tool. Okay, whenever you want to create a note here, okay, so for creating a note, okay, there's a bar here where you create your notes. Okay, so it's either a note or a list. Okay, so it's actually can be both. Okay, so when you click on that, okay, you can now put the title. Say, for example, let's put a sample notes. Okay, and you can already put the details here. Okay, now if you would like to make it a listing listing, okay, not really notes, okay, you can actually click on these three dots right here, and you can click on show checkboxes, and that will show you a listing format. Okay, and what's good about Google Keep is that you can actually set a reminder. Okay, so when you click a reminder right here, you can pick a time. Say, for example, this will set a reminder for these notes. Okay, next week, Monday, 8 a.m. Okay, so you can see here that that event, okay, that these notes no has been placed into a reminder. Okay, now what's good about that is that it actually is integrated into your calendar. When you do that, it will reflect into your Google Calendar. Okay. Now, you can also add a collaborator. Okay, so when you click on this one, you can add a person. Okay, so for example, let's say let's invite Kaagapay to support right here. Okay, and just click save. Now that person or Kaagapay teacher support has already been invited. Okay, so just imagine, for example, that you can share notes with other people or collaborate with other people for note taking. Okay. And more other things, you can put a color into your Google Keep notes. Okay? This is particularly useful in making sure that your notes can easily be and visually distinguished from the rest of your notes. Okay? So I usually use that now for color coding. So I have color coding for particular notes in my Google Keep, so that whenever I see them, I would know already where these notes are from or what for. Okay? And of course, you can also add image. Okay, so for example, if there are presentation slides or pictures that you'd like to insert, okay, or images that you'd like to put in your notes, you can easily add image right here. Okay, it could either come from the web, okay, from your Google Drive or from your camera. Okay, so it could come from different sources. Okay. Of course, you can always archive your notes. Okay, that declutters your notes, no, and put your notes in the some of your notes into the archive. You can always unarchive a note, okay? So don't worry. You can always revert it back into your notes, okay? And of course, you can do several more things like here, for example, delete a note, add label, add drawing, make a copy, hide checkboxes if you want, okay? And of course, if the notes have gone too much, okay, for Google Keep to manage it, you can easily transfer it to Google Docs. It will create a Google document for you for those notes. Okay, so that transition and that collaboration is actually very seamless and very good. Okay, now let me just show you. Okay, the last one for Google Keep, which is adding labels. Okay, so labels is one way of organizing your notes in your Google Keep. It allows you to put your notes, okay, into particular order into your Google Keep. So right here from the left side of my Google Keep, you can see that I have different notes. I have notes for Ateneo de Manila University. I have notes for Comment Bank, Google, Kaagapay Teacher Support, personal, PhD classes, etc. Okay. So let me just show you what it looks like. For example, these are all my notes for my PhD classes. Okay. So I have different notes now for different subjects. Okay. And okay, to add the label, okay, the only thing that you need to do is to click on Edit Labels, okay, right here. And when you click on that, you'll now be able to create a new label or just simply edit the labels that you have already created. Okay, so that's how easy we put a label. Okay, so once you're done, okay, what you can do is that whenever you create a note, so let's just open the note that we created earlier, okay, and you can see here from the three dots, there's an add label. So when you click add label, okay, you will now be able to choose into which label you'd like to put that particular note. Okay, and it will also appear on top or below, no, your notes. Okay, so that's one way of organizing. It allows you to see notes in a particular thematic way. So it's not like jumbled, no, and mixed all together. Okay, so that you can easily see and segregate your different notes, okay, for different matters, okay, like that. Okay, so that should allow you to organize your notes much better. Okay, so the last one that we're going to talk about today is Google Tasks. Okay, so Google Tasks is similar to Google Keep. It's also used for creating tasks, okay, or no listing. Okay, so when you want to access Google Tasks is a Google Tasks. It's a Google tool that's integrated into our different tools. Okay, so it does not have the its own page, okay, like Google Keep and Google Calendar. Okay, it's actually integrated into your Gmail, into your Google Calendar, Google Drive, and among other Google tools. Okay, so you can actually see it from the right side panel of your different Google tools. Okay, you can also access it from mobile. Okay, there is a mobile application called Google Tasks. Okay, and of course from your desktop or your laptop. So what we're going to do for Google Tasks is to simply show you how to create tasks and lists. Okay, so we'll just create a task, add a subtask, set due date to a task, and okay, insert a task from email. So let's go over. Okay, let's open our Google Calendar. Let me just show you. Okay, how it looks like. Okay, and how integrated your Google task is. Okay, so you can see it here from the right side of your panel. Okay. Let me just show you also, if you open your Drive, for example, you can also see it here. Okay? So your task is also visible from your Google Drive. Okay? If you open your mail, okay, you will also see it here on the right side. So all your Google Tasks is integrated across your different Google tools. Okay? Of course, where it's necessary. Okay, it does not appear in tools that it's not going to be useful. Okay, so let's just open it from here from our email. Okay, so whenever you open a your Google Task, okay, you'll be greeted by this interface. Okay, so you can easily add a task right here by clicking the Add Task. Okay, and put like details. Okay, so for example, I would like to create a sample task. And of course, you can also put details, okay, if you want, okay, what the task is all about. Okay, you can always add a time as well. Okay, this is basically a due date. Okay, so for example, this task should be due by October 15. Okay, you can always set a time. Okay, but that's optional. Okay, let me just zoom out. Okay, okay, and then click OK. So now our task has a date. Okay. Now, you can also add a subtask. Now, by clicking the three dots right here, you can add a subtask. Okay? Subtasks are basically like other tasks within this particular task. Say, for example, this sample task, okay, we can create a sample task 1. And we can easily enter, create a sample task 2. Let's edit that. Okay, so you can actually do that. No? So you can create one big task, no, and further detail it into smaller tasks. Okay? It's really up to you. Okay, and what's also good about whenever you add a particular due date, that also goes into your Google Calendar. Okay, so as I've said, this is an integrated tool into your Google Calendar. So every time you put a date or a due date to your task, okay, it also puts it into your Google Calendar, okay, making it a lot easier for you to remember your reminders, okay, due dates, okay, in one space, not like in separate spaces in your device. Okay. Now, aside from that, okay, you can actually also organize your lists, okay, by creating different lists. Okay, so if you go on top of your Google Tasks, you will see here a drop-down menu, and you can actually start creating here a new list so that your lists are not like jumbled together or mixed together. Okay, so you can create, for example, personal lists, or you also have work lists or lists for a project, etc. Okay, so you can do all of those lists in Google Tasks. The last one that I'd like to show you for Google Tasks is how to import a task from an email. Okay, so sometimes we have important emails to read or important tasks that we need to do from our email. You can easily import a task from an email. Okay, so we can, for example, I'd like to import this email into my Google Task. I will only tick that box into the email of the email, and then would go on top. You will see here add to task. And when you click on that, that now adds it to your to your task. Okay, so this is particularly useful for reminding myself about reading important emails. Okay, so whenever, for example, I don't have time yet to read emails, I would just simply browse the emails, select the emails that are important. I will put it into my list. Okay, of course, not into my grocery list. No, it's just a sample. So that I'll be reminded about which emails I need to read for the day or for tomorrow. Okay, so that's how we use Google Tasks. Okay, so again, these are all integrated tools. Okay, so just to end the session, okay, and thank you for listening today for this session on use of technology. But just as a reminder, with regards to our topic for today, okay, on Google Keep, Google Tasks, and Google Calendar, that with the organization comes empowerment. So if you master these tools, can you get to use these tools properly, it will actually empower you in doing your tasks, okay, in making you more efficient and more productive every day. So once again, thank you for watching this session, okay, and hope that you've learned. Okay, just in case you'd like to communicate or to contact us, okay, you may contact us via our Facebook page, okay, called at www.facebook.com/Kaagapay/teacher support. You can also visit our website at sites at google.com/access.edu/Kaagapay/home, or you can email us at administrator@kaagapayph.com. You can also visit our calendar, okay, to see our events at bit.ly/Kaagapay calendar, or you can also subscribe to our channel at www.youtube.com/c/𝐓𝐞𝐚𝐜𝐴DU. Okay, so thank you, and wish you well. Stay safe and stay negative from the COVID-19 virus.
Wow, what a wonderful lecture from our research speaker. I surely gained a lot of knowledge from Sir Franco today. How about you? Let us know in the comments below. When we return, Sir Franco will be with us in the next segment of our program, where we will entertain a selection of questions dropped during our registration. Stick around, we'll be right back. And we're back, and I hope you're back as well to join us in the next segment of our episode. I now give the virtual floor to our Teacher Techie Executive Head, Mr. CARY Dominic ABEJURO, and let us welcome once again Sir Franco Nicolo Adun.
So we are back, and sir, thank you so much again for being with us sa ating session, and also we have our College Student Council Advisor, Dr. Jocelyn Guiana. So, Sir Franco, let's say hi. Konting pa. Hi,
Hello, good afternoon and good day. And maraming salamat for listening to our webinar and session for today.
Ayan. Ma'am Guyana, if you can also say hi and konting greetings sa ating mga participants. Ay, ma'am, nakamute ka po. Ayan, pa-unmute lang natin.
Okay, so good evening to everyone. Thank you so much for staying also and listening to Mr. Franco. So welcome, whatever questions you will ask, and he will answer it. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Later, baka makasama natin si ma'am din. For the benefit ng mga manonood, this is pre-recorded. So we've already gathered your questions regarding the webinar, and it will be answered now by Sir Franco. Sir, ready ka na po? Okay.
Yes, we can. Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you. Sige, sir. We have actually over 100 participants na nag-register sa ating webinar. And one common theme of their questions is, what is the significance of using Google Calendar, Google Keep, and Google Tasks, since yun yung ating free tools na tinuro na discuss throughout the session. So, what is the significance, the benefits of using these tools? How can this help increase our productivity in our current setup?
Okay, so first of all, no, yung fundamentally, Google Calendar, Google Keep, and Google Tasks allows you to keep track of your tasks, your schedules, your events in one space. Okay, so that should in a way already, increase productivity, because you won't miss your meetings, you won't miss your events, you won't miss doing your tasks. Okay? And you're able to organize and prioritize accordingly. Okay? And with also the other features of Google Calendar, such as notifications, okay? Built-in attachments, it also allows you to collaborate with other people and increase further productivity, because working with others will definitely improve yung workflow mo as a person.
Thank you, sir. Sige, our next question here from a fourth-year student, she would like to ask, is there any disadvantage, sir? Meron po ba tayong disadvantage in using either of these tools?
The only disadvantage should be lack of internet connectivity. So you will not have a full access with with these tools without your connection. You can view them, okay, definitely, but all your details won't be synced if you are offline. Okay, so that's the only disadvantage so far that I can mention. Okay, but otherwise, it should work really well for organizing and increasing productivity.
Okay. Speaking of syncing, I think magandang segue ito to the next question. How do you this is from another fourth year, and actually also a first year student is asking this. Paano siya, sir, isi-sync? Meron pa silang kailangan gawin in using Google Calendar, Keep, and Task para mag-sync, para ma-synchronize siya sa laptop, sa phone, any processor na kailangan sundin?
Wala naman. The only way to do that is to just go online, okay? As long as you are signed into your Google account, all of your details are automatically synced into to the rest of your Google tools, including Google Calendar, Google Keep, and Google Tasks. So these are simultaneously happening the moment you sign into your account.
I think that's the beauty of it, sir, kasi parang seamless.
Yes.
Seamless ang
Yes,
for the benefit of the viewers, ayan, nakikita nyo, nasa computer shop ako. And I'm actually signed in sa Google account ko. So, I've just signed in, and I've already I already have the access to all of these tools. So,
yes.
Wala akong ibang ginawa. I just type in, logged in my account, then, ayan na. Parang Facebook lang, just type in, username, password, then lalabas na siya. Sir, ang next question here, from a BS and Social Studies student, fourth year, nagtatanong po siya if these Google features can be data consuming. I think marami kasi, sir, baga not everyone has a Wi-Fi connection. Yung iba heavily reliant in mobile data. So, with your experience, sir, are these features data consuming?
No, for the three tools that we covered for today, Google Calendar, Google Keep, and Google Tasks, no. They're actually one of the least consumer of bandwidth. Okay, among the different Google Workspace for education tools. Okay, so you're safe to use these tools, no, even for a long day, even if you turn them on, okay, for the rest of the day, it won't consume much data. Okay, because technically it does not like download and upload files, no, or data or information, just like any other tools, unless you input something. That's the only time you are uploading or downloading information. So you're safe.
Thank you. Here, medyo ano na tayo, sir, no? So, yung mga susunod na questions, more on, it's not just about the tools themselves, but more on parang, ano yan, sa professional education natin, integration of learning. Wow, lumalabas yung pagka-teacher natin. But, ayun, kasi these tools are not only as is, but it's actually being applied sa mga situations natin bilang mga teachers. So, here's an interesting question actually from 𝗍𝗱𝗱𝗂𝗧𝗑𝐫 from 4th year BE Ed. Sabi niya, how can this still be helpful to those students who seldom check their phones and other gadgets despite of having online classes? May mga case kasi na yung iba mas minamarapat na paper to pen muna ang trabaho bago gumamit ng gadgets. Gagamit lang sila kapag magpapasa na or alam nang nilang may synchronous class. So, sir?
That's actually a good thing. That's a good practice. No? You don't need to be always online to be able to use these tools. No, okay. That's actually a recommended thing. No? You don't like look at your tools, your files. No, every time. Okay. Occasionally within the day, start of the day, end of the day, maybe the best way to approach it. So actually it works. Okay. These tools are not meant to be like open every time. Okay. But this has to be, for example, also communicated, no, like for the rest of maybe the class or the school. Say for example, posting of events, no, or informing other people with events, no, should happen not like example midnight or beyond 5 p.m. No, there should also be an agreement about when to post events, when to invite people in your calendars, etc., or send files. No, if we're just going beyond the Google Calendar, okay. So that we are confident that we can check our files, our emails, okay, within the day, and we are not like bothered na baka may pinadala si teacher or merong sined, no, ng midnight or 10 p.m. or worse, no, in the dawn, no, 2 a.m. Okay, that will definitely, no, become problematic. But if we get to set up for our school standard time of like sending emails, standard time of sharing documents, etc., that should work. Okay, you don't need to be always on your phone looking and waiting for announcements or emails. Okay? That should not be a problem.
Very true, sir. I think I can agree 100%. Again, another beautiful segue sa next question. I think there should be a prerequisite. Are you familiar po, sir, sa time blocking? Time blocking.
Not really.
Sige. Kasi the question here is is there any benefit of time blocking, especially to teachers? Siguro for the sake of context, this is from a third year student na tanong. Time blocking when using the calendar, like you will block each sections of the day. So for example, 8 to 12, this is purely for academic work. Then another block of time is only for this portion of the work. So yun, using the calendar, the Google Calendar, you will be dividing your day into several blocks.
You can actually do that, no? In Google Calendar. You can set, no, some time for your calendar where you are working and what you're doing. That's actually a recent update. No? You can also do out of office schedules, okay, so that you can determine exactly what time you can be invited, what time you can be scheduled for a meeting, etc. Okay, this actually works so that people are informed, okay, if you are free for a particular time, or you can also designate, no, and organize your tasks accordingly para hindi sila halo-halo, okay, and you have like dedicated time. Okay, although for me, it depends, no, to a person. If you're a person who's engage in so many tasks. Okay? Say, for example, a teacher, we can't do that as a teacher because teachers no, are always have to be flexible about their times. Okay? Say, for example, there's a student that needs attention. Okay? We can't say that, oh, no, this is my academic time. I can't entertain you. You can't do that. Okay? Time for teachers, flexibility of time no, is one of the thing that a teacher should learn to manage. No, so it's not about like putting blocks onto your calendar as a teacher. It's all about prioritizing in your calendar. Okay, for others that would work. You say, for example, for a corporate person, that should actually work because their tasks no, are more or less defined for them in the day. But teachers, our tasks are never defined for the day. Okay, there could be like sudden meeting. There could be like sudden I don't know need to call a student, okay, or sudden need to call a parent, etc. Okay, that can't be blocked because we are directly dealing with humans. Okay, so again, it depends on your use, but for teachers, time blocking would not really work as much.
Yung next question, sir, I think, again, this is a wonderful transition from Denzel Mahadillas, fourth year BS Ed Filipino student. He asks, which or what type of persons best suit these productivity apps? Google Calendar, Keep, and Tasks. Which types of persons suit or best suit these productivity apps?
No, personality-wise, I can't really determine, no. Pero mostly, of course, no, Google Calendar should be more appropriate for people who have, well, number one, are engaged into many tasks. Okay? So you are engaging into several things, no, like academics. You also have extracurricular things. Okay? Outside engagement, etc. For me, for example, that works really well because I am, like, example, a teacher in Ateneo. I'm a teacher in Xavier. I'm also studying in UP. I have webinars now here and there, okay, or training here and there. If without Google Calendar, okay, I won't really be able to do all of those things. Okay, this also works for people who have the tendency to forget things, okay? Especially with the tasks or with the events they in front of them. Because Google Calendar allows for notifications, reminders, etc. Okay, and of course, Google Calendar or this kind of tools, these collaborative tools, these productivity tools, is perfect for people who would like to collaborate with other people because, like Google Calendar or other tools from the Google Workspace, such as Google Docs, Google Sheets, and Google Slides, allows for collaboration. So if you want to work with people in real time, to be able to communicate and seamlessly communicate, okay, definitely these are tools for you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Sa next question natin, I think this is interesting kasi we are online, so maybe this can be related to a privacy issue or an ethics issue. One of the questions we have got is, do the notes I have in Google Keep are being monitored by Google, or is it I am the only one who can see it?
You are the only one. Okay, so no one gets to have access to your notes, okay, to your details, whatever files you are you have in your Google Workspace account. Okay, your Google Admin Console might have records of what apps you're opening, how much you've used the apps, but they will never find or never see what files the actual content of the files, including your notes in your Keep, in your documents in your Google Docs, okay, or data in your Google Sheets. Those are all kept private.
Okay. And I think siguro that will be discretion na lang din ng user if he or she wants to share that with
Yes.
other users. Okay. Sige, these next questions actually they don't really focus more on the apps themselves, but more on the topic of productivity, since these apps, Google Calendar, Keep, and Tasks, help in being productive. These types of questions were actually one of the common questions asked by our participants. So, sir, seeing your profile na you've yun, sabi mo kanina, you're teaching in Xavier, you're teaching in Ateneo, you're in UP as well, you're part of the Kaagapay Teacher Support, you're doing a lot in this time. So, a question here by Jet Prince Batali of first year BS Values Education asks, how do you be productive without stressing yourself?
With all with the so many tasks that you're going to go through, okay, and staying productive, okay, is setting priorities. Okay, that's the first one. And making sure that you have a clear objectives for the day. So do not like try to do all of the things in one day. That's one of the things that I learned. No? So I set priorities. Okay, during the day, these are the things I want to do. Okay, and these are some non-negotiables. Okay, so for those I can do tomorrow, I will relegate that to tomorrow. Okay, so I do not like overstress myself. But I make sure that at the minimum, okay, I get to meet the things that I need to do for today. Okay. I also make sure that I classify my tasks, no, according to short-term or long-term tasks. Okay. So if, for example, if it's something that I can do right now, I will do right now. I will face it. I will accomplish it. Okay. But for the things that demands more time, okay, I tend to scaffold it. Okay. So for example, for things that I need to do for that cannot be done, no, in one sitting, I visualize it on how to do it in a scaffolded way. So this, like example, start with example. I'm doing. I usually do quick references for teachers. Okay, so what I do, for example, is that I don't do the quick reference in one day, and that's the only thing I did. Okay, and stress myself no for the entire day. So what I do, for example, first day I just gather materials. Okay, read about the quick reference I'm going to do. Second day, create a template for it, okay? And then siguro third day is to start for first part of the quick reference. Fourth day, do the second part of the quick reference. Fifth day, polish the quick reference and then publish it for the teachers. Okay. So you see, it's a big task, okay? But I don't get stressed because I get to scaffold my task. Okay? That's actually the same for students, no? When you're giving projects to your students, okay? You also don't give like one big project in one whole. Because it's important to scaffold. Again, going back to Vygotsky's idea of zone proximal development. No? And din dapat tayo. Okay? So we operate best, okay, when we are at a space, no, where we are comfortable doing the things that we know how to do on our own. Okay, thank you.
Very wonderful answer. Actually, kasi I was reading the next question actually from Florian Napili of first year BS Science. Sabi niya, organized naman po akong tao. May planner po ako and schedule sa mga gagawin. Pero minsan po, hindi ko talaga kaya maging productive for 2 days or less. And she asks, paano po maiiwasan ang malalang burnout na nagkakos ng pagiging unproductive ko? I think na your answer kanina, sir, I think that is already the best answer. Yung one big tasks, you treat it as parang multiple small tasks.
Yes.
If tama yung pagkakaintindi ko sa answer nyo kanina, sir. So, ayun. And few more questions left actually. Eto, I think also related, but feel free to answer din, sir. How can I be productive every day? But I think there's no need to be productive every day. But I think question ni Laili from BEM, how can I be productive every day? Sir, anong say natin dyan?
Actually, that's not no. Well, the first misconception is you don't need to be productive every time. Actually, I also have like a mantra of what they call embracing nothingness. Okay? So there should be a day at least that you don't do anything. Okay? You just sit down, watch your K-drama, to give yourself some space, okay, to recover. Okay, it's very much so alike, no, with after exercising. You don't like go exercising for the entire year, no, day after day after day. No, you take a rest in between to be able to recover. It's actually the same with our mental health, emotional health. No, you allow yourself to rest. Okay, so that's one thing you have to clarify. You don't need to be productive every time. Okay, actually, for example, on my end, okay, I don't accept anything during Sundays. Okay, and people know that. Okay, I don't get invited no on Sunday events. Okay, I don't accept any Sunday events, etc. Okay. As for maintaining, no, sustaining productivity, no, all throughout the week, no, not including your rest day. Okay. The first thing that you'll have to consider is goals, no. So you'll have to set a goal for the week. So what things you would like to achieve. Okay. So set some short-term goals, long-term goals, okay, that will eventually, lay down the things that you want to do and that you have to do. Okay. So of course, there are things that you want to do. Okay. There are also things that you need to do. Okay. It can't be just like whatever you want to do. Okay. There's some things there are things that we don't want to do, but we need to do them. Okay. By having these goals, no, it allows you to sustain productivity all throughout. Second is that always celebrate small wins. Okay? That's one of the things that people are forgetting. To recognize achievements along the way, because that sustains you eventually. No? So in most cases, of course, competence will be a key factor for productivity, but it's also a battle of mental state. No matter how competent you are, for example, no matter how good you are in writing essays, but you don't have the mental strength to go and write essays day in and day out, you will soon burn out and not be able to write an essay. But if you have that mental fortitude to actually go and write essays day in and day out, that will definitely increase productivity. Okay,
Yeah.
to take care of your mental health.
True. Very important, and as much as physical health, it is also important to take care of mental health. I think I remember si Ma'am Guyena is also kasi kami sa council, I think she also made that clear na if it's a weekend, especially on a Sunday, di ba ma'am?
Yeah.
Sunday dapat
Uh,
walang work. You
yes.
take some rest.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
ma'am, how about you, ma'am? Like, anong put out sa answers ni sir na on being productive every day? I think
No, I agreed with Sir Franco because you will not say that you are always productive every day. The most important thing is you have to set a goal or to do the list that you wanted to do for the whole, say, whole day or for whole week. It's up to you to do that. But the thing is, those activities that you will set for the day or goals for the day, so you of course one by one. It's not it's not you will just write everything and then uh, and then you wanted to finish everything. No, you don't do that because I believe that you will burn out. Yun yung sinasabi kanina ni Sir Franco na maburn out kapag gano'n ang gagawin mo. Na everyday kailangan mo ito. But you have to do it one by one. So ilagay mo to do the following. Ganyan po. And during the weekend, yun nga sabi ni Sir Franco, talagang sa akin, di ba, I told everybody na sabi ko, please, as much as possible, do not, no, I don't want to entertain during Sunday, especially Sunday, because this is my rest. I worked also in the church and also with my family. Ito yung medyo nare-relax ako. So pagdating ng Monday and up to Friday, then I will work again. But I have to set all the important things, yung goal ko, kung ano yung mga gagawin ko for the whole week. Yun.
very well said, ma'am. Thank you po. Yeah, it's indeed yung pacing ng mga gawain is very important to consider.
Yeah.
Actually, we're down to our last, I believe, 3 questions na lang. So, yan, matatapos na tayo sa ating session. So, I think this is very general, but I think some of it is also answered na kanina. It's actually from an alumna of the College of Education, from Ma'am Christy Basilia. Sabi niya, she asks, how can I best maximize Google Calendar, Keep, and tasks as a public school teacher now in this pandemic, sir?
Well, the best way talaga for school, for teachers, is to set up like a class calendar. Okay, that's the most recommended no, for teachers who are using Google Calendar. So say, for example, you set a Google Calendar, invite your students as collaborators or viewers of your calendar. Okay? And so whenever you set up, for example, deadlines, okay, you set up like events for your students. Okay? You can also like split there what's the lesson for this synchronous session or asynchronous session. Or if you're already in a face-to-face, no, you can also inform them about your lessons for the day. So you basically can communicate all of these things no, via Google Calendar. And again, especially for deadlines and due dates, no, what's good about Google Calendar, it allows you to send automated reminders for your students, like an email or a notification that tells them you have a submission tomorrow, okay, for this particular subject. Okay? You can also use and maximize Google Calendar for projects. Okay? Say, for example, you ask your organization, okay, in your case. You have, for example, projects no, and you're collaborating with someone or a group for this project. Okay? So you might want, for example, to put your timeline inside a Google Calendar. Usually we make that in a Google document, in a document. Okay? We write na during this time, we should be done by the proposal. By this time, we have to meet for polishing of the proposal, etc. All of those things could actually be done and could actually be communicated via Google Calendar. Okay, so there's an enormous possibilities okay, in using Google Calendar no, to enhance collaboration and productivity.
Okay. Moving on sa ating next question. This is actually also very beautiful in line with our program. It is actually from Janelle Vergara, second year BS Ed Science student of BU Tobacco Campus. The question is, do teachers need to be just do teachers need to learn just more than the MS tools and go beyond basic computer programming to catch up to the contemporary times? Let me repeat the question. Let me repeat it. Do teachers need to learn more than just the MS tools and go beyond basic computer programming to catch up to the contemporary times?
Of course, okay? Hindi ka na pwedeng nandun ka na lang sa mga tools na ginagamit natin before, okay? Well, for one, okay, the 21st century education is now defined by digital space. Okay, so hindi tayo pwedeng lagi naka-offline lang, okay? It's a hard reality, especially for for a developing country like us, no, with not much infrastructure for connectivity, but that's the truth, okay? Much of our access to information, communications are done in the digital space. Okay? Especially, for example, right now, okay, I am delivering a webinar no, online. Okay? That speaks about you, the power no, and the trends of digital space. Okay? I think the pandemic, that's one of the bright spots of the pandemic. No? It allowed us to see the importance of digital space, digital education, okay, as a 21st century education. Okay, we have for the longest time we try to deny it. Okay, in education, no? We try to to slow it down. Okay, stay conventional. Okay, traditional. Okay, but the pandemic, no, forced us to see that you're supposed to be doing digital education already. Okay, so yes, you are in a way, teachers, okay, are supposed to go beyond their comfort zones now. There's actually no growth there in your comfort zones. Okay, growth is somewhere beyond your comfort zones. Okay, so if you want to survive, if you want to adapt no, to 21st century education, then you'll have to learn these tools as well. Pero clarify ko lang, no, that digital education is never defined by the tools. Okay, it always still go back to the learning objectives. Okay, so I'm not defined by like the use of Google Workspace. I can opt not to use Google Workspace, or I can opt not to use these tools. Okay, the selection of tools no is preceded no by the learning objectives. Okay, so the learning objective comes first, and then the tools come after. Okay.
I think si Ma'am Guyana can relate sa using more than just the basic Microsoft Word, right? Di ba, ma'am? Okay lang ba i-share ko? Nakakaya, ma'am. Kasi I believe yan, part and parcel na yan, Ma'am Guyana, no? Parang may mga, you had to attend additional webinars to be properly introduced sa ganitong mga tools, no, ma'am?
Hello. Actually, sa top, we are attending also seminar, webinar because one of our group mates there, mga taga-ICT. So they are giving us a webinar on different also tools, even the video. Actually, they gave us training also. So that sabi nga namin, dapat maging updated kami dyan. So, although mabagal kaming siguro makasunod, but then for us, talagang we wanted to learn more as much as possible. Yun. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Actually, we're down to the last question na ito, sir, for tonight. Actually, for this afternoon, kung i-air ito sa afternoon. Ayan. So, sir, actually, I'm an avid fan. Wow, avid fan. I'm watching yung mga sessions niyo, sir, sa YouTube channel, sa mga Kaagapay teacher support na series. Actually, yung October series, I just watched the Canva and Puzzle session. I was very interested doon. I think every time, sir, every time when a speaker ends the session, you always ask a message of hope to the viewers, to the teachers. So ngayon, since you're the speaker instead of the facilitator of the session, so I will ask you, sir, what is your message of hope sa mga viewers natin, to our teachers in the making, sa mga pre-service teachers, a message of hope despite ngayong mahirap na situation in this pandemic.
Thank you so much for that. No. Well, as for for all of us, no, teachers to be, or students right now, okay. The biggest reminder for all of us is that we all have like an opportunity to make a change, no? Because most of the time we forget that we ourselves, no, are capable of bringing change to where we are and what we're doing. Okay? And I think that's the biggest reminder for us to brighten everyone's situation, especially right now. No, we should lift up, no, each other, help each other, regardless if it's in the use of technology, in adapting to changes in education, in learning innovations or doing innovations in education. Okay? Our responsibility, no, as teachers, okay, and teachers to be, no, are always beyond the classroom. Okay, we're not just meant to teach our content. No, we are meant to change lives of our students and change the lives of the people around them and around us. Okay, for that matter. Okay, so for what's worth, all your sacrifices. Okay, alam ko po nakakapagod, kaya at minsan nakaka-stress. Actually, hindi minsan, no, laging nakaka-stress. Okay? But I hope that you find the nobility, no, and the value of what we're doing. Okay? You might not see it right now when you become teachers, or if you are a teacher right now, but these are investments in the future. No? You will see that in the next 20, 30 years, no, and how your students, okay, change themselves and change the world around them. So, maraming salamat. Stay safe po kayo dyan at stay negative, no? From COVID-19, of course, not to the society. Okay? Maraming salamat po.
Ma'am, siguro ma'am, coming from since you are also a faculty for BU, any a positive message of encouragement for hope sa mga students talagang nahihirapan in this time?
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Franco, no, for encouraging each one of us, and of course for me also. I really appreciate, and I highly appreciate also the BUCE-CSC na ano nito. And I would like to encourage all of the students, not only students but the teachers, that sabi nga kailangan nating mag-improve, no? And although sabi natin as medyo mabagal tayo unti-unti, but then little by little, as long as yung heart natin, sabi ko nga, we can learn everything, especially this technology, as long as we will put it into our heart. Kasi anything naman anything na we wanted to learn is malalearn natin ito, no? Basta mag-focus lang tayo at sabi ko nga, ilagay natin sa heart natin, if we wanted to improve our sabi nga yung techniques and strategies to teach students, then kanina sabi ko nga, kailangan din nating matuto. No, ako sa akin, for me, okay, and sinasabi ko sa mga estudyante, gusto ko talaga mag-learn more, no, kahit even though, sabi ko nga andito na sa age namin, but sabi ko mas gusto kong matuto ng more on technology as long as marami magtuturo sa akin. So sa bawat estudyante and bawat teachers, I'm encouraging you to learn more, to desire more na mag-aral nitong technology. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Joyce and Sir Frank for being with us sa session na to. Very beautiful, very wonderful. Nasagot lahat ng questions, common questions na ating mga participants. And I know our participants would like to learn more, sa ating mga tools that are within our reach. So, sir, may you siguro i-promote natin ulit saan nila makikita, sir, yung mga other sessions nyo, and how can they also reach out to you and to your organization?
You can always contact us and reach us at our Facebook page at Kaagapay Teacher Support. That's www.facebook.com/kaagapay.teacher support, or you can always look at and access our training events, recorded training events via our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/c/𝐓𝐞𝐚𝐜𝐴D.
Ayan, thank you so much, sir. Ayan po, mga kaibigan, mga viewers, Kaagapay Teacher Support. Ayan, tapos search yung YouTube channel ni Sir 𝐓𝐞𝐚𝐜𝐴D.
As much as we would like to continue this productive session, I believe that we are at the end of our episode. Thank you so much, Sir Franco, for being with us for our Teacher Techie pilot episode. For the Council to further show its appreciation, here is the Honorary Chairman of the Teacher Techie Project and the BUCE College Student Council Secretary, Ms. Maylene Sulatan, to award the E-Certificate.
Good day, everyone. Allow me to present the E-Certificate to our resource speaker for this afternoon's event. The E-Certificate reads as follows: Certificate for your appreciation, Republic of the Philippines, Bicol University College of Education, College Student Council. This certificate is proudly presented to Sir Franco Nicolo P. Adun for imparting valuable insights during the Teacher Techie pilot episode, Productivity 101, a crash course on Google Calendar, Keep and Tasks, given this 27th of October 2021. Signed, CARY DOMINIC A. ABEJURO, Executive Chairman, Teacher Techie, President, BUCE College Student Council, Dr. Jocelyn F. Goyena, Advisor, BUCE College Student Council, College Student Activities Coordinator, BUCE, and Dr. Lorna N. Minya, Dean, Bicol University College of Education. To Sir Franco Adun, it is an honor to award you with this E-Certificate. Ikaw ay isang Tatak Teacher Techie.
Sir, once again, thank you so much po, sir, for being with us sa ating webinar and virtual round of applause. Ayan. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, maraming salamat.
Yeah.
And it's an honor to be here and to be able to share what I know and what I have.
I hope this won't be the last, sir, and especially sa mga teachers niyo sa organization. Indeed, you in your organization, Kaagapay Teacher Support, first-hand experience talaga seeing yung mga webinar sessions na pinapost nyo online. Very beautiful, very, very informative. I think malaking tulong yun talaga, sir, for our teachers and also to the teachers in the making, kaya sa aming mga students. Ayan.
I have indeed learned a lot from the event on how can we maximize our productivity using these ICT tools. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Also, flashed in your screen now is the QR code and link to access the evaluation form for our Teacher Techie pilot episode. A friendly reminder that answering this evaluation form will serve as your attendance to this event and will also be your ticket in receiving your certificate of participation. The evaluation form will be open until October 30, 2021 only, and the certificate of participation will be distributed 30 to 45 days after the closing of the evaluation form link. Before we end, allow me to leave you with a message from Sir Franco's Facebook post, Educational Amnesia. Forgetting that education is never just about the tech tools, approaches, strategies, or the grades. We have to be reminded that education remains to be the cultivation of a person's character, competence, and conscience. Learning and being a whole person comes first, not the tools or the grades. It is not just the beginning and the end, but the whole process of it. It is a journey of making mistakes, moments, discoveries, exploration, experiences, and the whole complexities in between. Education is not just about preparing for the world, but cultivating the person so that one day he or she can change the world. Great week ahead, teachers! In behalf of the BUCE College Student Council and the Teacher Techie Executive Head Mr. CARY DOMINIC ABEJURO, I would like to thank everyone for participating in our Teacher Techie pilot episode. Thank you so much, Sir Franco, for being with us. This has been your host, Kenneth de la Cruz. Make sure to follow the social media accounts of the BUCE College Student Council, and we'll see you in our next Teacher Techie episode.
This is the school we wish to sing, of a school to honor and revere, a temple built by man of firmness, a mold for you to walk with pride, for He will always be united, although we tread on distant lands. We all shall cherish what you've taught us, that you wholeheartedly gave forth. 𝐕 University, learning source of wisdom, fount of courage, hope, and of truth